Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana, and I am here in my Beehive studio this morning. If you are watching this on Facebook, I actually might be live. If you're watching at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on a Tuesday. If you're watching this on YouTube, I am not live, but I love your comments, and if you have any questions or anything, please go ahead and post them below and I will be sure to answer them later on. So today is Casing Tuesday, and it's the day when we take a card out of one of Stampin' Up's current catalogs and we choose that as our card to give a makeover to. And I love today's card. It has lots of layers to it. So for some of us, that's kind of fun because you kind of just plug and play in the different layers. For other people, it might be more difficult, but I actually love it when I have a slate like this to work with that I can just plug things in. So that's kind of cool. So what's been happening this week in my world? I had a really busy weekend. I stamped 50 thank you cards for my customers who placed orders last month. Thank you so much. They are going out in the mail today, and if you placed a bigger order of $75 or more, I have a bunch of gifts from last month to be sending out today as well. So if you did that, your order, you probably will get it by the end of the week. Hopefully. I know I couldn't mail out. I really wanted to mail out yesterday, being a Monday, but it was a postal holiday, so they will get out a little later. What else is happening in my world? Not a whole lot. We had a really busy weekend just trying to get everything done in our household, so I can't even remember what I did. Yikes. All right. Why don't I just get started on my card for today, because it is a little bit more complicated, has some layers to it. We have some coloring to do, so I want to make sure I have time to show you how I did the card from start to finish. So I'm going to turn my camera around so it will face down so you can see what I am doing. Okay, let me do that. There's my view today. I think it's trying to decide whether to be sunny or cloudy, or it was just a moment. There was like this brilliant, beautiful sunshine, and then just bam, it's cloudy again. But I wouldn't mind a little sun. I think it's going to get a little warmer today too. So, okay, here's the card that we are casing. It's got a lot of layers. See this background layer? We've got kind of a banner going on. You've got some different layers, a banner going across. So I try to emulate that with my card. And for reference purposes, if you have a holiday catalog, this is a card on page 46 of the catalog. If you don't have a catalog in person, you want to zero in on this card that we're doing. If you look at the description, I'm having sunshine's coming in on the one side. Let me turn on this light right here and let me block some of the sunshine out. It's doing wonky things to my setup here. I might need to close this one too. All right. Okay, that's a little dark. Just hold on. I'm bringing light in. I have to bring some artificial light in. It's kind of wonky when you have sunshine coming in brightly through one angle. It kind of makes it look kind of weird. Oh, we still kind of have a little bit of a shadow. Okay, I hope that's not too bad. So if you want to see this card, better go to our Casing Tuesday Facebook group. The link is in the description of this video. And I always have the card of the week with the thread where everyone posts their samples on it. You can see a better picture of this particular card. So this is the card that I created. I just love this card. Sometimes I like my card better than the card that I was in the catalog, and I really do like this card. I love the different greens, like the lemon lime twist and the mossy meadow together, and then I love the pool party in the background. And look, isn't that cute? It's so cute. All right, so that's the card I made, and I'm going to show you how to make it. A couple of quick things. This is the Farmhouse Christmas bundle. This is what I used to create the card. These things are available individually, like the stamp set and the, are they framelits? They're framelits, Farmhouse framelits. They're available separately, but if you buy them together as a bundle, you can save 10%. So I always recommend you doing that. Yeah, so get them together as a bundle because it's a better deal to do that. So to start off with this, we're going to need to do some stamping. So I've got a piece of thick whisper white. The reason I'm using thick whisper white is this truck is popped up on dimensionals, and I prefer, if I'm popping something up on dimensionals, that the cardstock be a little bit thicker than the regular whisper white. So we're going to need tuxedo black, Memento ink pad. I'm going to need my little truck, and I'm going to need the Merry Christmas. I'm going to stamp them both in black. So let me just grab this. Make sure my Merry Christmas is nice and inky and black. I'm just going to stamp this up at the top right here. This is a really pretty stamp, but I'm only going to be using this middle part. But I have to stamp the whole thing, or I would need to cut apart this stamp, or I would need to use a marker to mark up just the Merry Christmas. But it's really easy just to stamp this and then cut the banner out. You'll see that in a second. And then I'm going to take my little truck, also ink that up, and just stamp it down here. We're going to cut both of these out with a framelit. And I think that's all the stamping I need to do right now. All right, let me bring in my Big Shot. I've got it squared away down here. And put this on here. Now we'll need my little framelits. So I'm going to need my little truck, and I'm going to need this little banner piece right here. These are both in the framelits, so you don't have to worry about having any additional framelits. So I'm just going to center, you can see that, I'm centering my Merry Christmas in the little banner, so it's going to cut off the extra. And then my little truck down here, just need to make sure that it is framed up properly. Yeah, okay, that looks pretty good. And then I'm just going to run these both through at the same time. I'm using my magnetic platform for the base because it's just a little easier. So here is the Merry Christmas, and look, there's a little stitching around it. I love that. And the truck is all cut out, and now I will have to color it, and then I can pop it up on dimensionals to give it a little height. Then one more thing we need to do is we need to grab, this also comes with the framelits. This is the fence. And I've cut myself a piece of gray granite cardstock, and I just need to make sure that this gray granite is 3.5 inches across, because that is that layer, that pool party layer, it's going to go right across that, and that's 3.5 inches. So I want them both to be the same. So I'm just going to grab that and try very hard to center this. I'm using the little dots kind of just as alignment. These two dots right here, I'm just going to make sure they're about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. For some reason I want this centered and symmetrical, but it probably really doesn't matter so much because it's just me. So I'm just going to run this through twice because this is kind of intricate. I designed this card like 2 weeks ago, so I've kind of forgotten kind of how I did it. So I might need to bring in my die brush. See all these little pieces, they need to kind of pop out of there. So let me grab that. And of course I did not bring that over, but maybe if I hold this over my garbage can and I flick this, let's see if I can get most of these out. I can't bring my garbage can over because it's too tall, but let me just try this. Okay, some of them are coming out. Oh, it's not too bad actually. I'm just running my fingers. I'll show you real quick on the end. I'm just kind of running my fingers over there, and they're all kind of popping out. And of course now my fingers, okay, one more. Stubborn one. Okay, So there's the little fence. This was not too bad to cut out, so I suggest running it through twice, and that really helps a lot with the little guys coming out. Okay, let me see what else I need. Let me go up the truck and the Merry Christmas. Let's color this little truck. So I need a lot of different colors, don't I? So let's start off with Cherry Cobbler, and let's see, I've got, this is my light Cherry Cobbler and this is my dark Cherry Cobbler. So let me start off with the dark, and I'm going to use the bullet tip, and I'm going to come along and I'm just going to kind of outline the bottom of the truck, kind of giving it some shading. And you can come along and do some of the lines of the truck, because that's also where there is some natural shading going on. Okay, so that looks pretty bad, right? But no worries, I'm going to come and fix it. This is the Cherry Cobbler light marker. So now this is, I'm going to use the bullet tip, and I'm just going to blend in that dark shading. And just make sure I hit all the little areas of the truck. You could use the brush tip if you wanted to on the larger areas, but because I'm going to have to switch relatively soon, I'm just kind of going along and trying to hit this. Cherry Cobbler is such a nice Christmas color. It's so bright. All right, let me see what else I need to do. Okay, I need to do up along the top of the truck right here. Come along the side. And come down like this. Okay, make sure I do this line across the top of the truck. All right, I think I've got most of it. Go back over some of the dark Cherry Cobbler areas, make sure they're blended out. Okay, so it's starting to come together. So I decided to go with a light poppy parade interior, just to make it a little bit of a contrast, so it wouldn't be quite as bright as the Cherry Cobbler. So there was a little bit of a contrast. Okay, then let's come in and let's do the wheels. So I'm going to take, this is my light basic black. Just going to come in and do the wheels. I love coloring, but sometimes I feel like when I'm coloring on a video, I feel like I'm taking way too much time, but it's actually can be really relaxing if you color. There's a bit of a wheel down here on the other side. All right, while I have, while I'm doing my wheels, I noticed my headlights aren't colored yet. So I'm going to take, this is my pineapple punch, and I've got my light pineapple punch. I don't know, yeah, that looks good. It's not super dark. Just do the headlights there. And then we're gonna come along, I've got my smoky slate light and dark. Let me do my light first. I'm gonna do the front of the truck. Hit my little mirrors. And do my steering wheel. Do my hubcaps. All right. Then I can come in with my darker smoky slate. I'm just going to go over these lines on the front. There, the grill, I guess that's what they call it on the front of the truck. And then I guess, did I just use light granny? I seem to have lost one of my granny apple green Stampin' Blends, but I'm just going to come in and just color this tree. If you want to, you can come in and grab your darker one. Let me see if I can find mine real quick. Here it is. Just make sure it's the right color, dark granny apple green. And you can just do some little dots just to make it look like it's got a little bit of depth. So that is the coloring. It took just a little while, but I think it works. Okay, so now let's bring in this piece right here. I'm going to show you, on my original card, I just took a piece of Whisper White and I used my Wink of Stella, and I just rubbed it all over this Whisper White to give it a sparkly effect. And then I thought to myself afterwards, wouldn't it be so much simpler if I just did some sparkle glimmer paper and I just cut it instead of doing this? So I decided that I was going to use the sparkle glimmer paper, and afterwards we can compare the two and see which you like better. So I just kind of wanted to create the look of a snowbank. So I cut this piece. This is 3.5 inches by 1.5 inches. And I'm just going to start on the right hand side. I'm just going to kind of take off a little bit, and then I'm just going to kind of bring it down so it's a bit of a slope. You can play with it yourself and see how much more you want to take off. But I just take off like a little bit, and then you can, you know, we'll see how it looks, and we might need to adjust it a little bit. Then you'll need a piece of Pool Party cardstock, and this piece is 3.5 by 3 3/4 inches. So let's layer this up and see how it will look. So I'm going to put this fence behind here. The Merry Christmas needs to come up top here. We need a little bit of room here for the washi tape. So I might need to bring this down. I might need to cut a little bit more off of this actually. Go and cut just a wee bit more off. And if you're doing this multiple times, what I would do is just perfect it the first time and then use your first piece as a template. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to start off by gluing the Merry Christmas down, because I know I need enough room for that washi tape. So I want to make sure that I leave myself enough room. So I'm just, it's about 1/2 inch from the top. Okay, and I've got glue on my hands. All right, so now this piece, okay, I think the best way to do this piece, if I remember correctly, I'm just going to grab some tear and tape and add it to this top layer, my snowbank. Remove the liner. And I'm just going to take this off here for a moment. I'm going to line this up off of my blue piece so I can get it how I want it back there. And then I can come in and I can add some Tombow to the back of this. Tear and tape is just a little bit easier to work with when I'm adhering the fence to the snowy piece, but then I'm going to come in with Tombow. I'm just going to put Tombow along that top rail of the fence and then come in. I'm going to pick this up. I want to make sure my snow is right down at the bottom. Okay. So now we need to add this little truck, And I'm going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals for that. 1, 2, 3. Use my paper piercing tool to remove those backings. And then we can just place the truck somewhere on here, like that. Okay, so this layer is almost done. We need to add a couple more things to it, but we need to do a few more things to the background there. So this is the main card base. It's Lemon Lime Twist. I cut this piece to 11 inches by 4 1/4 inches, and then I scored it in half at the 5 1/2 inch mark. I need a little scrap piece of paper, my Lemon Lime Twist ink pad, and I'm going to add some Merry Christmas greeting to the back. On the original card, there was some stamping in the back, so I'm trying to emulate that a little bit. So on this side, just going to come in and hit it a few times. I found when I stamped off my Lemon Lime Twist, it barely shows. So I'm going to just, we can try it down here. Let's try it. Let's stamp it off once, and let me try it and see if it shows up. You can barely see it, but it's not too bad. Let's see if I can do that once more. Maybe, where do I need a spot? Maybe up here. Okay, so just to kind of have a little bit of stuff going on in the background. And then I need to create my little banner piece. So I've got a piece of Mossy Meadow cardstock. This is 3 inches by 5 inches. And what I did is, I had this all here just a moment ago, and now it has vanished. All right. Okay, here's my ruler, here's a pencil. So basically what I did is I found the halfway point. So it's 3 inches, so I found the halfway point, which is 1 1/2 inches. And then I measured 1/2 inch up to that point. And then I took my ruler and I just marked it with the, where I need to cut to create that banner. So can you kind of see that? I'm trying to hold it into the light. It's not showing up very well on the camera because this is such a dark color, but I'll cut it and then maybe you'll see it better. So I just came along here, need to cut to there, and then I need to come along here and cut there. And so that creates my little shallow banner for the bottom. All right. Let me see if there's anything else I need. No, I think I'm ready to do assembly now. So I'll take some Tombow, grab this piece, and basically I am just centering it from side to side, top to bottom. Then I'm going to also put some Tombow on this piece, just in the center part. And then I want to make sure I leave myself enough room for the washi tape up at the top. So I'm just kind of having a look at this card and how much I left. I leave a little bit more at the top than I do at the bottom. Make sure it's centered. All right, so I've got my little washi tape. This is the one in the holiday catalog. It's called Sweet Season. I created myself a little washi tape holder because once you open up your washi tape, it's kind of like all over the place. There's 5 rolls of it, right? So, and then like I hate it when it gets mixed up and I want to be able to see it quickly. So maybe I need to do a little video on how I did this, this little guy, because it's just easy to have them on here. I mean, I can take them all off and then put them back all onto here. But I'm going to grab this one. It's got cherry cobbler with little polka dots. And I'm just going to tear myself off a piece. I need to find the end. Okay, and then I'm just going to tear a little piece off. I did a terrible job tearing that, but it's supposed to look torn. Washi tape is not always supposed to look just perfect. It's kind of supposed to look random. That looks pretty good. And then the last thing, I think, if I'm correct, I tied myself a little very vanilla bow, and I got that out of, this is baker's twine. It's called the Festive Farmhouse Cotton Twine. It is on the same page as this, the whole suite with the stamp set and the framelits, so you'll be able to find it really easily, and it matches kind of nicely. And I thought, not to compete with the rest of it, I would do the very vanilla bow, and I just need a little mini glue dot. So I'll just grab one. They're on the roll here. Just stick the knot down into that, and then stick that right on the corner of my card to finish it off. And there is the card. I mean, it wasn't super hard. It's just a lot of layers involved with this one. I want to show you the difference. So I kind of like, okay, so you can't see it very well. This sparkle paper has a really good overall coating of sparkles. So it's a very uniform look. So if you like that look, I'd go with the sparkle paper. Now, if you want snow to look a little bit more like regular snow, the Wink of Stella does a really nice job, because when you brush it over the top, it creates a sparkle pattern, but it's not necessarily perfectly even. So it looks a little bit more like real snow. So, but in terms of time, the sparkle glimmer paper is a lot faster. You don't have to wait for anything to dry, and you don't have to, you just cut it and go. Whereas this one you'd have to brush over top and wait for it to dry. So definitely sparkle one is a little faster. And I think, and now holding it up into the light, it actually shows a little better. Let me see if I can bring some natural sunshine in. Look at that, there's some sunshine. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if it's catching the sunlight any better. It's very hard to see on my little tiny itty bitty bitty screen. So let me check before I turn my camera around again to see if there are any questions. And thank you so much for everyone who's joining me. I see people here from Denmark and North Carolina and Illinois. Awesome. From Maine. That's so awesome. Thank you so much for joining me. I don't see any questions, but if you think of something later, you are definitely welcome to just go ahead and comment, and I will try to grab it later. So this week, I have to get a tutorial ready. One of my bigger tutorials. That's what I'll be working on. In about 30 minutes, I'm going to be doing another Facebook Live. This one is for a card I did 2 weeks ago, and I was away during that time, and there are just a couple of tricks with that card. It was a note card. So if you're around at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time today, which is October 9th, and you want to pop in and see that one, I'm going to be doing that card, just showing you how to do that note card real quick. Because I had a request. I know I said I was going to do it, and then I got really busy, and then I didn't. And then someone actually messaged me about it. I'm like, oh yeah, people actually do read what I write. And I feel bad, because if one person asked me, there's probably 10 other people that were like, why didn't she show us how to do that card? So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to load up the video to the note card page, so that if anyone else wants to go back and access it, they can, and I'll load it up to YouTube too. So thank you so much for watching. I will be back here next Tuesday with another card. I hope you will join us. If you want to try out this layout and you want to share with us on our Facebook group, we would love to see what you've done with it. I think today, so far, all of our bloggers that join with us regularly, I think everyone has used a different stamp set. So it's kind of fun to see how this card can be made over in so many different ways. And if you like my design, you feel free to copy me and post it too, or post it your version of my card. I'd be flattered. So go over there and do that, or have a look at the other ones and see what everyone else has done. It's kind of fun to see that. It's great to share your stamping. I think it really does help when you share your stamping, especially when you're new and starting out, because I think. I don't know if it's that you work harder on the card. It's just like it just takes you to the next level, to that when you feel emboldened to post and share with us. And we're very nice over there, so don't feel like, oh, I haven't been stamping very long and I can't post my card. Please go and post your card. Like, we all started somewhere. So, some of us, need a long time before we are doing cards that are, more elaborate or whatever. But you need to start somewhere, and please share with us. That's what that group is for. And we would love to see what you've done. So have a great week, and I will see you next week back here at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday. Take care. Bye-bye.